The Crawler's Prey. Date: 1969, Death Valley, California, United States. Max Dyer was born into a world of darkness. His father, Mark Dyer, had been a member of the ill-fated Miskatonic University expedition to the Antarctic and had returned with a terrible secret. He had discovered that the Old Ones, a race of ancient beings who had once ruled the earth, were still alive and waiting to reclaim their lost empire. Max grew up knowing that the world was a dangerous place, and he was determined to do whatever he could to stop the Old Ones from returning. He taught mathematics at Miskatonic University and learned everything he could about the Old Ones and their plans in his free time. One day, Max was approached by a mysterious stranger who told him he was the only one who could stop the Old Ones. The stranger gave Max a strange device and told him that it was the only thing that could defeat the Old Ones. Max took the device and would soon set out on a journey to find the Old Ones and stop them. He would travel to Death Valley, California, and find the entrance to the Old Ones' lair. He will soon descend into the lair and find himself in a world of darkness and horror. Max Dyer's mind swirled with the excitement to uncover the secrets of the unknown, fear of the eldritch horrors if they existed there at all, and trying to summon the courage to actually face these horrific things if they indeed were there, and not to mention the honor it would bring to the Dyer family name. Max Dyer stood before the weathered headstone in Arkham Cemetery. The inscription, Mark Dyer, Antarctic Explorer, was barely visible beneath the patina of time. Max had heard stories about his father's adventures, whispers of cosmic horrors, and battles against ancient evils. As he looked at the inscription, he realized how much alike they truly were. Max, like his father, was a professor at Miskatonic University, teaching the same subjects that his father had taught before him. He had always been drawn to the universe and the realities of unknown realms that lay beyond the veil of reality. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the cemetery, Max felt a shiver run down his spine. The air grew heavy, and the silence was broken by an eerie whistling sound. He looked around, but saw nothing out of the ordinary. Suddenly, the headstone in front of him began to glow. A faint blue light emanated from the inscription, growing brighter and brighter with each passing moment. Max stepped back, his heart pounding in his chest. The light intensified, forming a swirling vortex above the headstone. A figure emerged from the vortex, tall and imposing, with piercing blue eyes and a stern expression. It was Max's father, looking exactly as he did in the old photographs that Max had seen. "Max," his father said, voice deep and resonating. "I have been waiting for you." Max stared at his father, speechless. He had never believed the stories, but now, faced with this impossible reality, he knew they were true. "But why me? I'm just a college professor. I'm not as skilled as yourself, father." "Yes, you are, my son. You have inherited my skill and my destiny. You are the only one who can stop the Old Ones." Max's father revealed that the artifact he had given him was a conduit transferring a portion of his knowledge to Max upon his death. Max was overwhelmed by the revelation. He felt a surge of power coursing through his veins, but he was also terrified of the responsibility it entailed. "But the Old Ones are gone," Max said. "I thought you defeated them." "Not entirely," his father replied. "They are still out there waiting for their chance to return, and when they do, you will be ready." Max's father trained him in the use of this newfound knowledge. He taught him how to control his mind, to manipulate energy, and how to perceive the hidden dimensions where the Old Ones dwell. Max struggled at first, but with his father's guidance, he began to master his abilities. He learned to see the world through different eyes and to perceive the subtle energies that flowed through all things. As Max's training progressed, he began to sense a growing presence in the world. It was a dark and malevolent force, reaching out from beyond the veil of reality. Max knew the Old Ones were returning. He could feel their influence spreading and corrupting the minds of men, preparing the world for their return. He knew he had to act fast. He gathered his courage and prepared for the battle that lay ahead. Max Dyer, armed with the knowledge he had inherited from his father, finally set out on his journey to confront the resurgent threat of the Old Ones. Unlike his father's Antarctic expedition, Max's destination wasn't the frozen wasteland, but the desolate expanse of Death Valley, California. Guided by cryptic clues and unsettling visions, he believed this arid landscape held the key to stopping the Old Ones' return. The journey was arduous. The scorching sun beat down relentlessly, and the endless sand dunes seemed to stretch on forever. But Max pressed on, driven by a sense of urgency and the weight of his responsibility. As he ventured deeper into the desert, the landscape grew even more desolate. The once familiar cacti and shrubs gave way to barren rock formations and eerie silence that seemed to press in on him from all sides. One night, as Max camped under a star-studded sky, he felt a presence watching him. It was a cold, malevolent force that sent shivers down his spine. He knew that the Old Ones were near. The next morning, Max discovered a series of ancient symbols carved into the rock face of a nearby canyon. He recognized them from his father's journals. They were the symbols of the Old Ones, a language of power and darkness. Max knew he had found what he was looking for. This was the place where the Old Ones were attempting to break through the veil between dimensions and return to our world. He spent the next few days studying the symbols, trying to decipher their meaning and a way to stop the ritual. It was a dangerous task, as the mere presence of the symbols seemed to disturb his energy and fill his mind with disturbing visions. Finally, Max had a breakthrough. He realized that the symbols were not just a language, but also a map. A map to the dimensional gateway that the Old Ones were trying to open. With renewed determination, Max set out to find the gateway. He followed the map of symbols, traversing the treacherous canyons and scaling sheer rock faces. The journey was fraught with danger, as the Old Ones seemed to anticipate his every move. At last, Max reached the gateway. It was a swirling vortex of darkness, pulsating with an evil energy that made his skin crawl. He knew this was the moment of truth, the point of no return. Max took a deep breath and stepped through the gateway. He found himself in a nightmarish realm, a world of shadows and corrupted forms. The Old Ones were all around him, their eyes burning with hatred and their voices whispering promises of power and of despair. Max fought back against the Old Ones, using the power he had inherited from his father. He summoned bolts of energy and shields of light, mental defenses to protect himself from the onslaught in the fight. The battle raged on for what seemed like an eternity. Max pushed to his limits both physically and mentally, but refused to give up. He knew the fate of humanity rested on his shoulders. Finally, Max, finding an opportunity, he channeled all of his remaining power into a single devastating blast of energy. The blast ripped through the ranks of the Old Ones, scattering them and weakening their hold on the dimensional gateway. With the gateway destabilized, Max knew he had to act, and speed was of the utmost importance. He focused his mind and opened a portal back to his own world. He then leaped through the portal, narrowly escaping the collapsing gateway and the enraged Old Ones. Max stumbled back onto the sands of Death Valley, exhausted but victorious. He had stopped the Old Ones from returning, at least for now. But he knew the threat was far from over. The old ones would continue to search for a way back, and Max would be ready to face them again. As the sun rose over the desert, casting long shadows across the barren landscape, Max knew that he had just become something more than a professor. He was a guardian and a protector of humanity against the forces of darkness. He would continue to fight for as long as it took to keep the world safe from the horrors that lurked beyond the veil. Max had thought he saved humanity from the old ones, but in fact he soon realized his battle was far from over. The dimensional gateway he had closed was only one of many, and the old ones were relentless in their pursuit of domination. As Max delved deeper into the mysteries of the cosmos, he discovered that the old ones were not only malevolent forces lurking in the shadows, there were other entities far more ancient and powerful that waited patiently for their chance to strike. One night, as Max pored over ancient texts in his dimly lit study, he felt a presence watching him. He looked up to see a figure cloaked in darkness, its face a twisted mockery of human features. Who are you?" Max demanded, trying to keep his voice steady. "I am Nyarlathotep, crawling chaos," the figure replied, its voice like a cold wind. "And you, Max Dyer, are the key to unlocking the secrets of the void." Max tried to resist, but Nyarlathotep's power was too great. He was dragged through a swirling vortex of darkness into a realm beyond human comprehension. There, he saw the void in all its glory, an endless expanse of nothingness punctuated only by the faint glow of distant stars. And in the center of the void, a figure waited, the devourer of stars, an unspeakable horror with eyes that burned like black holes. "Behold the ultimate reality," Nyarlathotep whispered, "beyond which lies only madness and despair." As the devourer began to speak, its voice a cacophony of screams and wails that echoed through the void, Max felt his mind unraveling. The stars began to die, one by one, plunging the void ever deeper into darkness. Nyarlathotep laughed like the shattering of glass. "You should not have delved so deep, Max Dyer. Now you are joining the void, trapped forever in its abyssal horror." And with that, Nyarlathotep reached out a twisted tentacle hand and touched Max's forehead. Max's mind shattered, his soul consumed by the eternal void. The devourer of stars disappeared, leaving behind only the endless expanse of nothingness. Nyarlathotep, the crawling chaos, remained, watching over the void for the next victim to dare to gaze into the abyss. And in the darkness, the stars continued to die, one by one, plunging the universe into an eternal night of madness and despair. The story of Max Dyer became a cautionary tale, whispered in hushed tones by those who dared to venture into the forbidden knowledge of the cosmos. And in the darkness of the void, Nyarlathotep waited, very patiently, ready to bring about the end of all who dared to challenge the abyssal horror of the cosmos. And we gather here today to bid farewell to a man who delved too deep into the mysteries of the universe. Maxwell Dyer, professor of cosmology, seeker of truth, and professor of mathematics at Miskatonic University. Max, as he was known to his friends and colleagues, was a brilliant mind, consumed by the desire to understand the workings of the cosmos. His passion for knowledge drove him to explore the unknown, to venture into the forbidden, and to challenge the very fabric of reality itself. Tragically, his quest for truth ultimately proved to be his undoing. Max's obsession with the mysteries of the void led him down a dangerous path, one that culminated ultimately in his demise. He was found in his study, surrounded by ancient texts and forbidden knowledge, his mind shattered by the horrors that he had uncovered. Now, as we say goodbye to this remarkable individual, we are reminded of the fragility of the human existence and the dangers of delving too deep into the unknown. May Max's story serve as a cautionary tale, reminding us to respect the boundaries of human understanding and to cherish the beauty of the mysteries that lie beyond our comprehension. Rest in peace, Maxwell Dyer. May your journey into the unknown be filled with peace and tranquility that eluded you in life. The funeral service was led by a figure, mysterious, dressed in a long black coat, his face obscured by a wide-brimmed hat. His voice was low and hypnotic, weaving a spell of sorrows and mourning over the gathered mourners. Few noticed the strange tentacle-like appendages that briefly flashed from beneath his coat, or the faint eldritch glow that seemed to emanate from his very presence. Nyarlathotep, the crawling chaos, had come to claim another victim, and to ensure that the secrets of the void remained buried forever. These funeral services were held at the San Francisco Memorial Chapel, followed by a private burial in the Golden Gate National Cemetery. In lieu of flowers, the family requests donations to the Maxwell Dyer Memorial Fund, supporting research in cosmology and the advancement of human knowledge. But beware, for the horrors that lurk in the shadows are always waiting, and the price of knowledge may be more than you can bear. Yeah.